In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You're advised that any views expressed by the hosts or their guests are not necessarily the views of Tug Entertainment or its partners.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd today. And Robin, do you know what week this is?
Well, gosh, what week is this, Sandra?
This is, yeah, you'll love this. This is the week that Operation Gratitude has added on to put together their next set of boxes. And so people are clamoring to go down to the National Guard Armory this Monday through Friday. So if you guys are in the Los Angeles area and you want to go down there for a great week of fun, make friends, pack boxes for the soldiers, look at the World War II vets that are there. They come rolling in their wheelchairs. I get such a kick out of it, Robin. And to talk to these guys, you know, it's like if you have a pulse and you're under the age of 50, you will feel like a rock star, because they come over and they're like, oh, are you here to support our troops? And then they tell you all about their lives and all about their service, you know, in the Vietnam War and the Korean War, and then a few of them for World War II, which means they're in their 90s.
Amazing.
It is. It's just such an amazing experience. So we want to put a shout out to Carolyn Blasek and her Operation Gratitude, and wish them the best of luck for their package assembly this week. And it's just an amazing thing to see, Robin. And they're like human pack mules, and the boxes, you know, nothing's really automated. So the boxes go along this long tables, you know, like 25 or 30 long 6-foot plastic tables that are all like in a circle, and the boxes just go down, you know, and we stuff whatever. Like I did Bibles one year, and then one year I did little packets of like little coffee packets, and you know, you just put it in your box and hand the box to the person next to you, and you get to talk and laugh. And there's soldiers and airmen and seamen. I mean, there's retired, active duty, some that are injured and active duty. It's just such an amazing experience.
Well, I think everybody needs to at least check into opgratitude.com. It's .com, right? It's not .org. It is .com.
Well, they got it all. .org, .net, .com. I think they bought them all.
That's great. So that not only people can find where in Los Angeles to go, which armory, and the directions and information, but also continued support, because all throughout the year, Operation Gratitude is just a like you say, a workhorse to get things out there, and personal letters and things that are just really well thought of, things that are not just, oh, throw this in, oh, just throw that in. These are really well thought out packages that really give the guys and gals over there just a little touch of home, and they are so appreciated.
Well, and sending your kids artwork, you know, I harp on this, you know, every couple months. I just think, you know, Robin, you were a teacher, you know how many things come home from the kids. And, you know, my kids come home with these work of arts. And then my son lately, my older one, is into drawing cars. So he's drawn car after car after car, and wants me to save all of them. And
well, Auntie Robin in New Hampshire needs a car on her refrigerator.
We'll send you a car.
Okay.
car, but how fun is that you can take your kids' artwork from school or the things that you are working on at home, fold them in half, make them into a card, stick them in an envelope, and at the end of the month, just address them to Operation Gratitude, and they will put your child's artwork in these boxes. And when you think of your kids' artwork going overseas to, 25 or 30, Marines or soldiers that are going to totally dig this, it's going to make their day. I have seen with my own eyes military personnel with a child's drawing, tucked in their pocket of their uniform or tucked in their helmet, saying, "This is why I do what I do." So don't underestimate the power of what your child's artwork has to move a soldier. And they can just write the simple words, "Thank you." That's it.
Yes.
Stick it in a packet, mail it out, and make somebody's day or make 25 people's day.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful operation. We've had Carolyn on before, and I hope we can have her visit again, maybe in the fall when we're starting to gear up for the holiday shipments. We might be able to get her to say hello because she's a wonderful woman.
She is. And our radio show contributed lots of scarves last year, Rob, when we put the call out nationally.
I remember.
I got a letter back from Operation Gratitude to Military Mom Talk Radio thanking us for our contribution of scarves. I know I physically shipped about 60 of them myself that were delivered to my home. But I know that scarves came in from all over the country based on our radio broadcast. So keep sending stuff in because everything gets used.
Absolutely. We'll have to put a little initiative out there. I think maybe we'll start it up again and maybe we can get another shipment out there.
Well, there's so many great opportunities, Rob, for families to help in ways that you don't think. When you think about reusing homework assignments or drawings that your kids do. I recently went to a kid's birthday party, and this kid got so much stuff. I mean, he got probably 50 gifts. I mean, no kid needs to get 50 gifts.
Oh, yeah.
And so the mom was just overwhelmed. She's like, "I don't know what to do with all this stuff." And I was like, I do. It's called Toys for Tots. Let your kid pick out, the 10 or so that he really likes, the ones that you're not going to regift and the kids aren't going to play with. Take a trash bag that's not see-through because they don't want, you want to torture them going, "You can't have these."
Right.
Yeah. But you know what? Stick it in the back of your closet. Throw the toys in there that they're not going to use or they're going to play with once and discard, and save them. Take the tax deduction at the end of the year and donate them to Toys for Tots. It's a great, great way that you can help without really lifting a finger.
Absolutely. Or spending a dime. Absolutely. And I think there are kids who understand. We have a lot of kids lately who have been having birthday parties, and what their whole birthday party is just to go cut their hair for Locks for Love, or to have a party where the kids aren't receiving the presents. Their party is in order to give something to, say, Toys for Tots or whatever they've chosen. A lot of our kids out here are doing that kind of thing, and I think it's amazing. It is just totally amazing.
I do too. Well, and it shows heart can take the form of a child, can take the form of adult. It doesn't. We just all have to do our part.
It's really cool to see how many youth groups and young people are becoming more philanthropic, understanding that we really are a rather small world after all, and just realizing that the networking that we're initiating with our children are only going to blossom into better networking and relationships when they're adults.
Oh, just love you, Robin. You always know the right thing to say. I forgot to introduce our guest today, by the way.
Who have we got coming on today, Sandra?
We have Dr. Jody Bremer, part 2. She's going to take the mystery out of going to therapy. I know I was scared to death when I went, happy that I went. Much more solid, stable person after that. And Dr. Jody Bremer was not my therapist. Actually, somebody asked if she was my personal therapist. I would have loved her, but no, sorry, she's not. Oh, then we have Kat and Kat. They are the authors of Eddie and Bingo, a children's book. Kathleen Taylor and Katherine Taylor. I can't even screw that up. They're so close. Even me. And then finally, going to bring on Beth Jones, and she is a representative for Meditec. Now, Meditec has not paid for any endorsement. We're bringing Beth on because she's a military spouse and a stay-at-home mom of 2. So she knows how difficult it is to juggle her career, her children, her marriage while she's pursuing her education. And she is... She's going to Meditec, which is an online education provider of career training programs that have to do with health, legal, and business. So this is really cool. And I just, we like to bring different opportunities and different things to you that you may not know about. We don't use them. We don't endorse them insofar as we're just bringing it to you. Hope it works. If it doesn't, don't come sue us because we don't have anything anyway.
I just have to throw this out to you. I read to actually last week. I got a blog from Bobby Brown, who is down in Bobby O'Brien down in Florida. She writes a blog called Off the Base, and they are doing research on woodpeckers and finding out how woodpeckers endure the force that they do, and by understanding how their skull and their brain activity works, it is having them give more information to better design headgear to reduce concussions and serious brain injury. Isn't that just amazing?
That is.
Yeah. When you stop and think that a woodpecker's beak pounds the wood at a force of 1,000 that of gravity, that's the way it's worded in her little in her blog here. Their skull obviously has something that we don't know about. So I think it's pretty cool that they're really looking towards something like a simple woodpecker to create things that are going to help our guys and gals, and not only the military, but you think football players or any other kind of sports people. It's just amazing.
Yeah, any contact sports,
Absolutely, yeah. So this was really an interesting. I let everybody know about Bobby O'Brien. She's off the base. She's out of Florida. She's a neat gal. Coming up in about 20 seconds before the break, we will be looking to say hello to Dr. Jody Bremer on the other side of the break. As always, you can find us at militarymomtalkradio.com. You can find us on iTunes, and as always on our great TogiNet host, toginet.com. We will be looking for you on the other side of the break. We'll be back.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Do holidays and celebrations get you down and leave you feeling frazzled? Then join Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon, 11 a.m. Central on toginet.com. Sandy will help you discover the secrets to having the celebrations you've always dreamed of while adding fun and meaning to your life. From Valentine's Day to Christmas to special family events, Sandy Fowler will show you how to put the fun and meaning back into those special days by taking a look at what we can do to turn the upcoming holidays into cherished memories and show us how to allow it to intertwine with everyday life. For more on the show, Sandy, and to receive Sandy's Holiday Happiness booklet, go to heartfilledholidays.com. Then get set to discover the secrets to creating happy holidays and happy everydays by joining Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time on toginet.com.
Join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu. Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on toginet.com. Helen Wu was born and raised in San Francisco's Chinatown, and after a very difficult upbringing, fighting depression, abuse, and addictions, she finally finds herself genuinely happy inside and out. Helen believes in taking our positive thinking and doing something positive to achieve a positive outcome. She's here to make a positive difference in your life, to be your game changer, your aha moment mentor. She she's ready to help both men and women get into a better place. Helen Wu is also the author of Self-Aid Success Stories, 25 success stories from successful entrepreneurs. Inspired by Ellen DeGeneres, Helen wants the world to know that just because we find ourselves in a difficult situation doesn't mean we have to stay there. We can aid ourselves to a better life. So join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu. Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Red, white, and blue.
Hey mamas, this is Sandra Beck and we are here on Military Mom Talk Radio with Robin Boyd, and our guest today is Dr. Jody Bremer. And for those of you who are regular listeners, you know that we had her on a couple weeks ago talking about what it's like to sign up for therapy and go to see either a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a social worker, or someone associated with the military, or even without, actually, with our 1,000 hours of all the volunteer hours we have for our servicemen and women outside of the military. Now, Jody, we have talked about some of the objections that, everybody has about, going to talk to somebody. It's embarrassing. You don't know what you're doing. You feel like it's something really wrong with you. But our military families, they have a separate set of things that keep them sometimes from seeking counsel with a counselor or a therapist. Can you talk a little bit about those objections?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest concerns is that going to see a counselor, a therapist, a doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist will give them a label or will identify them with a negative stigma of some sort. They're afraid that if they're going, then somebody's going to put down something incriminating on a record like PTSD or something that they believe, hopefully erroneously, would negatively impact their career. I have seen a huge change in the military's presence in terms of supporting both the service member and the family to try to reconcile issues that are more and more common, especially with the combat situation, of relationships or just trouble readjusting or even difficulties going into deployment that people haven't had before or haven't been recognized. So therapy, or what's provided by Military One Source, is a way outside of the military to talk to somebody who understands the issues, who can help figure out what's going on. And most importantly, it's not an answer, but it will help the people seek answers or help people work out whatever issues they have going on. They come to me a lot of times and say, I want you to fix this, or my husband's angry, make him not angry, or my wife doesn't understand me, or my wife has her own issues, fix her, fix us. And it's not a question of fixing, it's a question of figuring out what's going on and trying to work through it in whichever direction it's going to be.
So, Jody, go ahead, Robin.
No, I was just going to make the comment how sometimes it takes that third person, an objective person, just to be able to open up the dialogue, because sometimes we just don't know quite why things are not coming together. And sometimes the third person is giving that objectivity to ask a question, what about? What do you think? How do you feel about going in this direction? What would be the best outcome? What could be the problematic outcome? And I think that's where that third person is so important.
Absolutely. And one thing I would like to stress is not to bring the third person, such as myself, into an issue after it's too late. When people come for marriage and family therapy or couples therapy or individual therapy, oftentimes, especially when it's involving a relationship, I'm kind of like the last box that they check. Like, okay, well, we've tried everything else, so let's just put down that we went to therapy and it didn't work, so we can move on from there. And what I find is that the most successful relationships have had some sort of communication, either with third parties or better communication within themselves, all along the road to be able to work out things the way that they should be, as opposed to considering this a last-ditch effort or having somebody label the fear of being labeled or even just to check off the box.
Hey, you guys, we have a caller. He goes by the name of Kay's Marine. And Kay's Marine, are you on the line? Do we have you?
Oh, I think our controller said just a second and we'll have him on.
Okay. Jody, one of the things that I hear a lot, from people seeking treatment is that it's something that they never would have thought of. And how come we go to the doctor when we have a headache? We go to the doctor when we have a bellyache. We get an infection in our toe. We go to the doctor. Why is it so hard for us to wrap our brains around, I'm suffering in my heart, or I'm suffering in my head, or something's really bothering me? What keeps us from going to seek treatment when we'll go for every other ailment?
That's a really good question. We don't hesitate if our leg is broken to go get it x-rayed and fixed. And when people think that there's something wrong with the mind or the brain, then we go back to these labels. Well, what if they call me crazy? What if I'm this? What if I'm that? And there is this real stigma, this real hesitancy to go get help for depression, for anxiety, for anything that These can be serious chemical imbalances as well, and a chemical imbalance in the brain is every bit as valid as a chemical imbalance in the rest of the body, where a fever rages or anything that's visible.
That's so important because, when we think of infections or we think of, imbalances and stuff like that, it's like I'm always low on iron. I don't think twice about the doctor giving me a prescription for iron, taking my iron pill, feel much better. We need to get to the point as a group, as a population, that we can go seek help, for all the things that we need. Okay, so we've got Kay Marine back on the line. Kay Marine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So
welcome.
Hello,
welcome
Kay
to
Marine.
the show.
Hello, ladies.
So you are somebody who has sought treatment for something. Can you tell us, as a Marine, what it was like to come to that decision? Did you come to it right away? Did your family or friends or wife or girlfriend, somebody help you make that decision? What brought you, what was your thought process? You don't have to tell us what or why unless you want to, but I want to get some insight into how it felt up to the point that you sought treatment.
Okay. First off, I sought out treatment as a result of trying to deal with a very nasty divorce. My ex, everything built to a culmination, and she bounced out of the picture very quickly, very suddenly. We had been doing some counseling with a pastor from our local church, and I was under the impression that was going well. Evidently, she did not agree, and she peaced out and moved back to the eastern part of the U.S. That left me with a massive void and a whole lot of questions for me to try and figure out what was going on. Well, I'd spoken to a couple of my coworkers, a couple of the senior enlisted guys, and Marines are what they are, and the majority of us, sad to say, have been married and divorced and married and sometimes divorced again. So the experience of having a Marine go through that situation is not foreign at all. And they just said, hey, we're here to help you, whatever you need. And at that time, I needed something to help me work through and really comprehend what was going on, why it was happening, and what the next step was going to be. And so I saw the naval counselor there, but felt kind of uncomfortable, which is another problem with counseling in the military, but we can address that later. But just because it felt too much like this is where I work, I don't want my business in the street. I'm not saying that happens, but it's still kind of that feeling. So I called one source. My commanding officer was like, hey, here's a resource. Give them a call, and so they should help you out. And they did. I actually ended up working with Jody, and it was great. I know that me ending up there in her office was partly a result of me knowing that I needed to talk to somebody, but partly a result of my senior leadership having, seen people go through relationships and combat stress and all that other thing. The senior leadership is really starting to recognize that, hey, going to talk to somebody is just like getting an oil change. It needs to be done. It's not a bad thing. Everybody should be doing it. And they're a lot more proactive on pushing us in that direction.
Oh, I love that.
I think it's wonderful that we are slowly getting away from stigmas, and that's phenomenal. And that's what we need, is to know that it's not, like you say, Kay's Marine, it's just a matter of you've got to go and get an oil change on your car. There are things that you've just got to go. There's a lot of things that we have to go to doctors about that we don't care for our once a years. So I think it's wonderful that you were encouraged positively, that you were given good direction, and it's wonderful to hear that you are now moving on to the better part of the rest of your life. So congratulations.
Well, and Case Marine, are you there?
Yeah,
I went through a heinous, nasty divorce. Robin will tell you she had to hear every gory detail. And honest to God, if, my shrink didn't glue me back together on a regular basis, I wouldn't be here. So more power to you, Semper Fi. We need it. It's brutal when they just get up and walk out and you're like, what? And I'm really proud of you, too, for seeking treatment, because you know what? Not a lot of jarheads would do that. So rock on.
Absolutely.
Case Marine, if I may ask, where do you stand today?
We've got 1 minute before break, guys.
Happily remarried.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and the other thing is that this time decided to do something a little different. Invited her before we got married to come to some counseling sessions and just talk about things going on in her life and going on in our dating life, and that matriculated its way into a healthier, happier relationship that ultimately ended up with us getting married.
As I said,
Perfect.
start it before you need it.
That's
most
awesome.
definitely.
Kays Marine, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing what was in your heart before, and now what is obviously giving you joy for your life here on in. Back in a moment with Katherine and Kathleen Taylor. Thank you, Dr. Jody Bremer. You're wonderful as always.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Okay, we will. We're going to teach you how to tell your money where to go. It's Intelligent Investing with Pam Otten on TogiNet. Learn how to be a savvy investor from someone who has your best interest at heart. Pam Otten is a financial advisor who loves to help successful business owners and entrepreneurs understand the mysteries of the investment world. And she's not afraid to share that knowledge. Pam is an unashamed Christian and qualified kingdom advisor, which means she's trained and committed to integrating biblical principles into her financial advice. Pam believes investing isn't rocket science. This is the financial advisor who's in your corner and truly understands and cares about you and helping you achieve your goals. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. It's Intelligent Investing with Pam Otten on TogiNet. People have the means to live, but no meaning to live for. These are the words of Dr. Viktor Frankl, the inspiration for the movie Victor and I. That's VIKTOR and I, movie.com. And Talk Sense Radio, The Meaning Connection, with host Mary Simaluka and frequent contributor Alexander Vesley. Friday afternoons at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. More and more people today are discarding their quest for money, possessions, and things, and are instead beginning a serious quest to find meaning in life. Until now, these discussions were historically in the hands of priests, ministers, and scribes, then to philosophers, psychiatrists, and psychologists. Now, these deep discussions are where they should be, in the hands of individuals, on the air with you. Talk Sense Radio, The Meaning Connection, with your host, Mary Simaluka, and frequent contributor, Alexander Vesley. Friday afternoons at 3, 2 Central, on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sail at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, we want to put a shout out to Kay's Marine, man. That's really awesome. I mean, you got this rough and tumble Marine saying, hey, get to therapy now before it's a problem. He took his girlfriend with him, after a difficult divorce and, service, which is stressful enough. And then they worked things out before they tied the knot. I mean, that's the best endorsement of getting help that I could even ever hope to think of. And we want to thank Dr. Jody Bremer always for coming on and giving us some great information.
Wicked awesome, as we say in New Hampshire.
Wicked awesome. Well, I said something else on the chat, but I can't repeat it on the air, but he's effing awesome.
Oh, honestly.
Yeah. So we go from potty mouth to children's books. What a quite a segue.
There. That is a perfect segue.
Well, it's a military show. What can we say, right?
That's right. And I'm so excited to meet the authors of Eddie and Bingo. What a delightful story this looks to be.
That's awesome. Well, we have a little thing from Kay's Marine. He said, just an FYI, when it comes to getting Marines to go to counseling for battle stress, use the relationship aspect to open the door. So that's straight from the Marine's mouth. So ladies, if you're trying to get your man, or men, if you're trying to get your ladies to therapy to talk about battle stress, using the relationship aspect to open the door is K Marine's rockin' advice. And he says most commanding officers and senior enlisted will readily talk about trying to help their marriage, but guys are slow to discuss their combat stress. I think that's amazing. Don't you, Rob?
Absolutely. And it just, like you say, hearing it from someone who is there, it's all well and good for a therapist who maybe wasn't serving to say, I can understand what you're feeling. Well, this is coming from the guy who was there, and this is coming from the guy who's been there and done that. So rock on, Kay's Marine. We think you're great, and thank you so much.
Yep, so let's bring on Kathleen Taylor and Katherine Taylor. We got Kat and Kat Taylor. How crazy is that?
That is so cool.
We confuse everybody.
Yeah, we love that. Because, I'm known for getting everybody's names wrong, but I'm like, gee, they guys have essentially the same name. How bad can I screw that one up?
You would be surprised how bad people screw it up.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are like me. You guys are New York girls.
That's correct.
Currently reside in Camarillo, which is not too far from where I'm broadcasting. Robin's the lone rogue military mom out in New Hampshire. Wait a minute. Born in Huntington Station. Was she actually born in the station?
Hope not.
Because I'm like Huntington Hospital, but Huntington Station?
Huntington Station, New York, yeah. In a hospital.
Yeah. Well, you guys wrote a book called Eddie and Bingo, which is a children's book.
That's correct.
This is really cool because this is set back in the Korean War, which a lot of books that we see for kids are set in present day.
That's true. I think one neat thing about this, after hearing your interview with Kay's Marine, you can see that there are some good things that come out of people going off to serve their country, other than terrible things. And that's how this story originated.
Well, and I just love, my dad was a huge fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers. So, of course I had to be like, ooh, this is pretty neat. And it's got dogs in it. It's like, what more
my dad
do you
was,
need?
he actually tried out for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, it started when I was little. My dad was in the Korean War. And years later, after the war, he still worked for the military. He continued to work for the Navy in Camarillo at Grumman. And he would go on carrier trips a lot because he did navigation systems for the carriers. And we would miss him because he'd be gone for 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month at a time. And he would tell us, we'd ask him to tell us war stories, of course, but he didn't want to go into too much detail being the way he was. But he would tell us a story about this puppy that he had found on board an aircraft carrier. And we thought it was such an endearing story, we thought we'd like to share it with future generations.
That's so cool. I mean, you think what a carrier holds like 5,000 men and women, something like that. How would you even, a dog could be on there and there's plenty of places for it to go.
Right. Well, that's part of the interesting part of the story about how Eddie tries to hide Bingo and to see how long he could get away with it, which isn't very long before he's found out. And the story goes on to tell what happens and the home he eventually finds for the puppy.
Well, and what a morale booster for the young sailors. I remember that MASH episode, and I think the dog got run over, Robin. I can't remember, but there was a MASH episode where the dog was, and I remember crying, thinking, here are these, this poor little dog, and how much they loved that little dog, and I think that sentiment.
Look at Radar came in, and he was crying, and how could you not?
Right.
Him break down.
That's true.
Well, it doesn't get run over. I can tell you that.
I just remember that aspect of it. So you guys, we know how the story came about. Now, you guys, how did you meet? With the same name? Is that,
Well, we kind of have a special relationship. Kathleen is my daughter-in-law, so we're mother-in-law and daughter-in-law team.
Oh, my God, you get along?
That's a story in writing the story, we almost came to a few blows, but we managed to work through it, and we're still talking, so that's a very good sign. But we enjoy working together. Kathleen did help me I did the writing. Kathleen helped me with the writing, but Kathleen was the illustrator of the entire book.
That's so cool.
So we had a really good time working on that. And, of course, I knew her father before he passed away several years ago. And we were so fortunate that Ed was able to know that we were working on putting this book together. He never did see it finished, but he knew we were working on it. And that was very, very special to us.
Oh, absolutely. And I can only imagine that he probably was touched that you thought his story was significant enough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think so many times anyone in the military, they just think, oh, I just did that. Oh, I just did that.
Exactly.
They don't think of their stories.
No, they're very humble, and that's why we wanted to shine a light on them, especially.
And the importance of the book, too, is to shine a good light on the people that are in the military and the good things that they do. A lot of times it's overshadowed by some of the awful things that you hear. And we want everybody to know that they're good people just like the rest of us.
And all I can think of is that what's the movie with James Cagney, and they were on the boat, and all I can think of is I can't think of the guy's name with the marbles, putting it over the captain's deck. I'm not thinking of the right movie title, but that's all I can think of is these guys trying to hide the puppy on the ship.
That's kind of my inspiration with some of the old slapstick Navy movies. My dad and I used to watch them when I was little. I don't remember some of the titles as well, but I definitely remember those movies. Those kind of inspired the artwork as well.
Did he talk to you a lot about a lot of the places where he was stationed and things he had to go as a photographer?
Sure. Well, a few things. He photographed Navy weddings on a happier note, and he did a lot of baptisms, and he photographed a lot of change of command of officers, as well as battle. He was on the battlefront. Back in the day, they only had photographers would travel with Marines, the Air Force, the Seabees. They didn't have specific photographers for the specific branches. They just had the Navy photographers.
And he also did some photos of President Eisenhower when he was in Hawaii.
Yes, he did.
Kathleen is so fortunate to have a photo of President Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
And he also got to photograph movie stars from time to time.
That's right. From Here to Eternity was being filmed, I believe it was in Hawaii. And he did some of the location shots for the movie industry as well.
Oh my gosh, we're starting to wind up the segment, ladies. As you may know, we have our Authors Corner with Joyce Faulkner once a month from the Military Writers Society of America. How did that organization impact your book?
Oh, they've just been amazing. They are just such a great group of people. I just happened to, when we first did the book, we went through a smaller publishing house, and so we decided to look and see if there's any things out there, groups for military writers. And we happened to come across one by chance, and I spoke with Joyce and some other members there, and they're just amazing, and they help promote. They're such a good support team. They give you any tips. They try to advertise for you any way they can. They're just great people. They're just a really good group of people.
What's really neat about them, too, is that you don't have to be a big name. And believe me, they have a lot of big name people, but you can be just you, and they welcome you just the same. Really make you feel at home and support the book and promote the book and give you all kinds of opportunities. It was the best accidental finding of an address on the web that we've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome. In about a minute, do you have another book on the way by chance?
Well, we're planning on, we've started a new book, and this one is a totally different tack than this first one. It's based on a childhood memory of mine, and we're working on that right now.
Well, that's great, because obviously you have now become a very successful team. So,
thank you.
That means that there's going to be a lot more to come. We can direct people to where to find your book.
Okay, we have a web address, www.eddieandbingo.com. You can find us on Amazon.com and any of the Barnes & Noble, any of the Powell's books, and on our publisher's website, inkwater.com.
That's wonderful. Ladies, I can't wait to have you come back and tell us about your next book. We want everybody to read Eddie and Bingo. And I think adults can appreciate reading a book like this not just for kids, but I think adults would appreciate it.
It's a piece of history. We wanted to make like a living history piece for sure, absolutely. We hope it gives comfort to parents of deployed or being deployed also. Yes, of course.
Absolutely. And it's to honor all of our military, past and present.
Thank you so much for that. And Kathleen and Katherine, we'll talk to you very soon. Go to eddieandbingo.com so you too can enjoy this wonderful book. Thanks so much, ladies. You're a delight.
Thank you very much.
We hope to see you very soon.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Coming up on the other side of the break, we have Beth Jones and another interesting lady you won't want to miss. We'll be back in a moment on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Y'all wave your hands. Look who's on. It's Dakota Man Keith and he's number one. Now you might think Juan's youth was sad, right? Cause he had a death dear mommy and dad, right? But that ain't the case. It wasn't his fate. No, the Juans never struggled to communicate. Y'all wave your hands. Look who's on. It's Dakota Man Keith and he's number one.
It's That Keith Wan Show on TogiNet.com, Wednesday nights at 8, 7 Central. Every week, That Keith Wan Show will have guests that share their experiences, expertise, opinions, and personal lives with us to hopefully help us better understand others. The topics and guests will come from the American Sign Language community. For more on Keith Wan and the show, go to his website, KeithWan.com. Listen with an open mind and willingness to learn and help with the cultural bridge.
Number one, Keith's number one. Everybody clap cause Dakota Man's on. Number one, Keith's number one. Everybody clap cause Dakota Man's on.
Don't miss That Keith Wan Show. Wednesday nights at 8, 7 Central on TogiNet.com. Hey moms, get ready for Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Living the Dream Mom is about the true realities of motherhood, the beauty and the rewards of watching your children grow.
All these moms have something in common. They put their kids first. It's not about the kids all the time and the diapers and the bottles and the breastfeeding. It's about showcasing the mother in motherhood. Real moms in the real world. You get it? Now that's what the show's about. So every week, let's get together and we'll share these great stories with you guys. And I hope by the end of the show, you'll be saying, you know what? That is my life. Nina gets it. And I can't hardly wait to see what she brings me next week.
Don't miss the next Living the Dream Mom. It's real moms in the real world. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Uncle Sam put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we've had such a great show. For those of you who have missed the earlier segments, check us out on iTunes, pick us up on TogiNet. Our broadcasts are recorded under podcast. You can find us under militarymomtalkradio.com. You can listen to them there. We had Dr. Jody Bremer on first segment, and then we had a Marine that popped on to talk about his benefits from therapy. Definitely a must listen to if your man or lady is suffering from even stress, and then getting some help, especially through your senior officers, from a relationship aspect, and then you can deal with the other stuff later. Then we had Kathleen Taylor and Katherine Taylor, mother and daughter-in-law, artist-writer combo. You can find them at eddieandbingo.com. Very, very neat children's story. I love that it was set when the Korean War broke out, and I just think it's one of those things that's such a fun topic and such a fun thing. And now we have Beth Jones. And Robin, I got to tell you, I met Beth Jones, I believe, on Facebook. No kidding.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And were you just looking for, did she find you? Is that how it works? Hi, Beth.
Hey. How did we meet?
Well, Sandra saw a post that I had made about Meditec, and she sent me a message and said she wanted to learn a little bit more about the school and how military spouses could get involved, and she invited me to be on the show.
I'm so glad.
That's wonderful.
First, where are you from right now? Where are you stationed somewhere? Is your spouse still in the military?
Yes, my husband is in the Air Force, and right now we're stationed in Maryland.
Oh,
so I'm originally from Kansas, a long way from home.
Oh. Have you found a lot of support in your neighborhood to help you sort of settle into a military environment?
I have. That's one thing that I really enjoy about living on base is that there really is a community of helping. And everyone's kind of in the same boat. So everybody understands what it's like to move a lot, what it's like to not have grandma and grandpa nearby for the kids, all that stuff.
That's really hard.
It really is. So tell us a little bit about what Meditec is, first of all, and how you've been involved with it.
Well, Meditec is an online career school, and Meditec offers business, medical, and legal courses. I actually found out about Meditec because I'm a student there, and I found out that it's free for many military students with a grant called the MyCAA grant. And so I signed up, and
that's two A's, right? MyCAA.
Yes, that's right. So I found out that I was eligible for the grant and could take a course for free. So I went ahead and signed up and got my paralegal certification from home.
Is Meditec virtual, or is it at an actual campus?
Meditec is all online, and all the courses are self-paced. So that's what makes it really appealing for military spouses, I think, is that it's something that you can take with you anywhere, and you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to be moving in the middle of a semester, or am I going to be missing classes because I'm having a baby? Any of that stuff, you don't have to worry about it because it's all self-paced. So you can take a break if you need to, or you can work really quickly if you prefer to.
Wow.
See, that's so important, that flexibility, between the moving and, I have a girlfriend right now who's packing up everything to move cross country, and, something like this that allows her to put her studies on hold while she gets her kids and her things cross country, she can come back to it. Or even if, you talk about having a baby, or, sometimes we just have a sick kid for a couple weeks, or when that flu goes through the house and it wipes out everybody.
Yeah.
That's brutal when you're trying to, military moms are not, raising kids and, germ warfare in your own home is one of the hardest things. I've got some Air Force friends that live down the street from me, and she's in retraining because she got injured actually in her Air Force job. So they're retraining her, and she has 5 kids, and they just found out all of them are whatever, gluten intolerant or whatever. She's got to put them, the celiac disease, that's what they have, all of them. So she's having to go with this menagerie of kids, trying to figure out what to feed herself, her father who lives with her kids that live with her, all while she's going back to nursing school. And I know something like this would have helped her, that she could just put her studies on hold, get her family adjusted, and then move forward.
Yeah, it sounds like something like that would be really, really helpful for a situation like that.
Now, Beth, I was going to ask about financing. Does Meditec help with the GI benefits as far as utilizing your GI benefits?
You can't use the GI Bill with Meditec right now, but they do accept the MyCAA grant. So for students who are eligible for that, your spouse needs to be an E1 to E5, O1 or O2, or warrant officer 1 or 2, and your course will be free. The grant will cover any course completely. And then for students who don't qualify for the grant, there are payment plans available, and there's also a 10% discount for students who pay their tuition in full.
Now, what's the MyCAA for those of us who are, we've got enough acronyms to remember?
The MyCAA grant is basically just a $4,000 grant for active duty military spouses, and it's called the Military Spouse Career Advancement Account. That's what the acronym is. And it provides military spouses with training in portable career fields. So specialize in helping you get started with careers that you can take with you wherever you go. So the medical transcription courses, the paralegal, or medical billing and coding, all those things are high demand careers that you can take with you pretty much anywhere. So that's what the MyCAA grant is basically for.
Oh, I see. And people should look it up because there's a whole bunch of things. It's like spouse of active duty, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine that can be an E1 to an E5, a W1 to W2, or a 0102. But if you're an activated reserve member in pay grades E1, E5, there's a whole bunch of things on here. So you should check it out, because if you're the spouse of a National Guard or an AGR member and you're federal Title 10 active duty orders as reported in DEERS, you're also eligible. And so it's worth it. I mean, you're limited to the $4,000 maximum benefit with a 2,000-year fiscal cap, and there are waivers available for certain fiscal caps. You just need to check this stuff out.
And what was that website, Sam?
Well, I just pulled it off of Tidewater Community College. They had a nice, theirs was the only one I could understand.
Well, that's the website we should be putting out there then.
Yeah. And a portable
Website?
career. Well, it's a good one. It's tcc.edu, Tidewater Community College. I don't know where they are, maybe Florida, but they spell it out so easy. They're like, what is a portable career? They said portable careers are those that are likely to provide job opportunities in most locations where military service members are stationed. So these are limited, but not all inclusive to business and management, construction, trade, education, financial services, health services, homeland security, hospital management, human resources, information technology, and real estate. And that's only a list of partial careers. So this is pretty cool.
Now, where does somebody find, I guess what I'm wanting to make sure is that we have the location of Meditec. Where do we find out more about Meditec?
Well, students can find out more on the Meditec official website, which is just meditec.com, or they can visit my Meditec page on Facebook, and that's just facebook.com/MeditecBeth. And I list all the recent promotions. Like sometimes there's a discount 1 month for students who don't qualify, or sometimes Meditec will give away freebies to students who sign up in a certain month. And both of those websites will offer a lot of information on the courses that are currently offered and how to get started.
Well, yeah, It looks really easy for Meditec. It's like you determine your eligibility just by filling out a profile. You register, and then they'll let you know if you're eligible. It's that simple.
Right. It's super easy, and all the books and everything are included too. So that's if you qualify for the MyCAA grant, there's no out-of-pocket costs. You don't have to pay for books, supplies, anything.
That's cool. You do have to pay for your own computer. I don't think it covers that. A program like this, and what I like about your company, if we can give any endorsement, that it was founded in 1969. So this has been around a while. It's not a fly-by-night, oh, look, we're going to capitalize on the grants that are available or, what's available for the military. They've been doing this a while.
That's great. And we want to make sure everyone goes to visit. More people need to find Beth on Facebook. It was facebook.com/MeditecBeth, and that's MEDITECBETH, Meditec Beth. This is exciting, and anyone who's just thinking about it, I think you should just go and check it out. The resource is there, and it's a wonderful opportunity. Thanks, Beth, for sharing that with us.
Yes, thanks so much for giving me the chance to talk with you guys about it.
That's great. Sam, next week we've got another busy schedule. We've got Linda Franklin coming back from the Shining Service Worldwide. We've got Susie Manning with Sizzle.
She's going to make me stand outside. I know it.
Yes, she's going to go make you stand outside. You've got to get out there. We both of us, we got to get away from the computer, go outside, refresh, renew, regenerate. Absolutely. And then we have Valerie Main. She is from Antioch. And if you want to learn more about your advanced degree, this would be the segment to listen to. Valerie Main will be on with us as well next week. So as always, thank you. And we want to give a shout out to Dora, who is under the weather today. I hope you're getting better, dear. We miss you, and she'll be on with you tomorrow, I believe, Sandra, on Motherhood Talk Radio.
Oh, you'll be on. You're hosting tomorrow. I'm not going to be on. I'll be over at Operation Gratitude.
Well, you'll be with us in heart. We want to thank Dr. Jody Bremer, Kat Taylor, and, of course, Beth Jones. We had a great show today. Everyone will see you.
Don't forget Kay Marine.
Oh, absolutely. Semper Fi, Kay Marie. We'll see you all next week on Military Mom Talk Radio.